Hello, Rob here with another rubber toe assembly, LifeTime outdoor storage shed, roof and skylights today. I'll show you how to put those up. This is the front roof piece to the center truss. As you see here, you bend the sides first, as I'm doing there, and it really helps when you set it up on the roof. The center truss, it's going to overlap the front where the door entry is on the side of looks like a 15 or 20 by 8 right here, and it goes on just as you see there. Pre-bending those ends helps out just as you see right there, because it fits right into the grooves like it's supposed to. And those holes that are going up that line there where I just had my hand, those holes you want to make sure that are cleared of any burrs. Clear those out too, and then you bend the side like so. And once it's up there, it's positioned right where it goes. As you see, you take the little screws and put them in all of those holes that you see there. So after those holes, each one has a screw in it. I usually hold it back on the top. As you see there, I put my arm through the window and pull down on the roof if needed. That bottom corner there just needed, and as you see there, I go on that side, put my arm up and push down on it to screw it in. So it's a nice, perfect, tight fit. Snug, everything's holding it together. The next piece is the small triangle, and as you can see there, I'm clearing all the burrs out of those holes. Just as the first piece that was just put up. Those last holes, as you see there, usually are nice and cleared. They're larger size and they usually don't have stuff in it, but once or twice I think I had to clear those as well, so just check them all. And it fits just like that on top of the other piece. Slicing off all that extra plastic really helps out. They fit like a glove when there's no obstructions by little plastic spillage of whatever it is. It's plastic stuff. So you just move your center truss over, and you have a little bit of plyway there. Slide it to the left or to the right, however you see fit, but it's basically in the center of that long bar, as you see. And it's got two holes to put two screws right there where you see. Two in the main large piece on each side, so 4 total, and then 2 on the small triangle at the top, right there. And then you put all those holes in. And before you put your 2 triangle pieces, which is the next step, you want to insert these into the corners as shown. That's how I do them. I just bend them in there and they usually drop right in, and it lines up in that groove just like you see there. There's a little groove in the front that it's going into, and it's laying right in the channel, perfect. And you take the screws that come with it, put a washer on it, run it through. I run them from the bottom towards the top, pointing towards the top, and then they put another washer in that just like you see there. And you come back through after, tighten it with a number 2 Phillips and a 3/8 open end wrench. Snug it up. Next step is a screw, another one of these short fat ones. Yep, there it is. I push down on the top of the roof and it lines that hole up with the pre-drill. Perfect. And you just pop a screw in there just like you see, and it holds it nice and tight, the corners, which is pretty imperative, being as the doors are there. So as you can see, the right side goes on same fashion. This is a better angle. You can see how I just turn it and twist it in there, and then you use that little plastic piece. You can pinch it and wiggle it around a little bit. Use it as kind of like a handle, and wiggle it into the groove, into the front of that front gable that's right above the doors. There's a little groove cut in that piece, and it just sits right in there. Same way, you run a screw with washers on both sides, make it look pretty like the other one. You can run it, I guess, from top down, but for me, I like to use the drill and just zip zip. And you can't put the drill on it when it's up on the top, the Phillips part. So either way, and then I complete that with the final screw, just like the other side, same place, and there you have it, a perfect triangle above your doorway entry gable. The next two pieces now will be those large triangle roof pieces. One's a left and one's a right. If you're holding one up there and it's not the right way, it's not the right piece, so just grab the only other one there is, which is the other side, and it drops right in. As you see there, there's a left and a right. The right side on this one has a long channel that drops into the groove there. Perfect. Making sure you have that first initial roof piece, triangle, all lined up perfect, just helps all the other pieces to fit perfect. The first screws I put in are the one you see there. I think it's the first one from the top on the right hand side, and then the second screw I always put in it's right in the center at the top of that triangle, and it's adjacent to the screw for the other side that's going to wind up one of its corners is going to be up there. That's the second screw I usually put. This case I probably had to hold it funny, so I pushed down and put one screw in the middle just to hold it, and as you can see, the very next screw I do is that one I was just talking about, very top one. And then you just make your way down the line, and you can alter, jump across, put the back one first, the front one, or you can go right down the line. It doesn't really matter, I've noticed. And you just zip a screw in there, but you don't want to over tighten those for sure. Doing these by hand is probably the better way. So there you go. If you use a drill on this, just set your drill torque to real low. That way you can put the screws all in there, and if you feel like you need a little extra tightening, you can go back through with a number 3 Phillips screwdriver, number 3 tip, and put them on those screws and just give them a little extra turn so they're nice and snug, but you don't want to overturn them so they keep spinning. You don't want that to happen. So left side triangle goes on just as you see there, just like the right side did. Sometimes there's situations with the flooring, when you have flooring that kind of goes up, comes down a little bit, it's not completely flat, and you have a hard time with putting the flooring out and the walls out. But if you line them, if they're all lined up nice, that's your best shot at the roof all lining up nice as well. So all these steps from the ground up on these sheds really come into play at one point or another when you're putting it all together. As you can see, zip, zip, zip. I'm just putting the left side on real quick. Everything must have lined up really nice. Perfect on this one. And I just make my way right down, and that's usually the last screw I put in right there at the bottom. And mission complete. Now we're moving on to the roof panels. This is the first corner where the bubble window is. I already have on, and it's lined up with a little nib there, right above my head there. Where it is on the truss, has like a little indenture, which you will shortly see probably because I'm going to be doing these roofs. So this corner piece, sometimes you have to go around on the outside and pull the roof down. This one seems to come down nicely, and as I put the screws in to the pre-drill holes, if you can see in the little crack space there, you can see where the pre-drill hole is on the roof. And you can see the screw coming through the hole at the bottom and kind of make sure it lines right into that. Anyways, this other roof piece highlighted right there was the little nib that it drops into. And then that first screw I put in at the bottom left to hold it, and I jump right up to the right side of it. On the top right corner is usually my second screw I put in. Poof, you line that up perfectly with the pre-drill hold. That bottom left and top right corners, as I'm saying there, makes everything else, all the other screws around it, line up usually nice, real nice. And here is how I align each roof piece. make sure that right there where my left hand is, it's nice and lined up, and as you can see, give it a couple of taps to bring it down and lines up the nib right into the notch. And here we have the roof supports bar that I'm putting in. This window piece gets 2, and all the other pieces get 1 on the top. This particular window has 1 bar underneath the window, which you can see I take the screw out first and I just lift it up a little bit, usually a couple of taps with the mallet, and it drops into place. That one just went right in, perfect. And then you reinsert that screw there. Then the second support bar goes in on the top side of the roof. As you see there's a little channel, and then this side lift up a little bit, as you see, and I can pull it right down, drops right into place. Sometimes if you're having a hard time with it and it doesn't want to pull through there and drop down, you just take that screw out, give yourself some room, and then put the screw back in. Nice and easy. The other side looks like here the same way. I push up. You see how I remove the screw first, push up and put a little bit of space there, just enough to get the support bar in. And the side without the hole is always the one I put in to the gable side. It just makes things a lot easier, as I clearly pointed out right there. And then that's the side with the hole. It's more squared off. That usually I put in, wedge it in there, and just slide it down. And as you can see, drops right into place. And I reinsert the screw when I'm done. So that's the bottom bar, and the top bar goes on in the same way. That same left side is going to go into the gable. Makes things way easier. And then the top part you just lift up a little bit, as you see there, pull it back down, drops right into place. Yeah, all 4 of those were nice. Didn't even need to use the mallet to tap it in there, but sometimes if it's a little rough, you have to give it a couple of taps with the mallet, and it slides right down into place. Perfect. There you have it. Those are your bubble roof pieces, bubble window roof pieces. Both are installed now on the left and the right. Thumbs up. We're going to switch to the small Skylights roof assembly here. It's part 115. It's the first one you're going to lay down, because as you can see the grooves, let's point out there, they're going to be facing up, so their next piece is going to overlap on top of this one. As you can see the way the grooves are. So I just set it up there, as you see, it holds itself. I go put the right side or the left side, it doesn't really matter. This particular one I put the left side first, got 1 screw started to hold it, and then it consists of 3 others. I catch the outside, I'm going to go to the other side and catch that outside, and then I'll put the center ones, finish those. 1 final screw, that easy. There's your roof spline is what I call that. The next piece, I think this one's a 15 or 20 by 8, so there's going to be quite a few of these. 15 by 8 has that roof. So as you can see, I give it a fold, stick it right up through the top of the roof, slide it over. If you have to get on the ladder to do this, then just move the ladder around, but it's very easily done when you're up there. And as you can see, it drops right on top of the other piece, overlapping it. There'll be 1 screw that holds those together there. But usually first I put a screw into the truss on one side, and then I go catty corner. Always go catty corner. Put one on the other side, and then I fill the other 2 holes. You jump around to the areas where you see that need to be lined up and held, which is right there. I put 1 screw there, and then 1 on the other side. If it looks like it's all lined up perfect, put a screw there to hold it, because it's just going to make all the other pieces that much more perfect, lining them up. And then I come back over to the truss and put the other 2 screws. That one's complete. And then the next several pieces will be just like that. Fold, as you see there. Make a fold in it. It helps a little bit. And then you lift it up just like the other piece. As you can see, one's a overlapping side and the other side is underlapping. So you do it just as shown. And then this next roof piece, you jump across with the screws. And yeah, this time I had to screw down the hold it. Final screw is same thing on the other side. Yep. So then you continue with your screws, filling in all the holes that need screws and don't have them, till you get to your final piece, which will be the overlapping side. And you just rest it like you do the other side onto the top of the gable. Get 4 screws in this, so I usually grab 4. Put the first one on the outside, holds it nice. Sometimes if you have a nice area right there to the right where it connects to the other roof pieces, I usually put a screw there. But anyways, I go right side first, then left side, as you see in this one, and then I fill the middle spaces. Boom, boom. So all 4 of the edges are on. So it must mean it lined up perfect with the other 2 screws. There's 2 more screws there in that last roof piece. I just haven't put the screws in yet. I don't know if I ran out of screws or what, but just fill those in. These are screws that are all laid out on the shelf with washers on them, exactly how they are to be installed, onto the small skylights. Those are all those center squares. Each one is going to get one of these. I fold them just like I do the roof pieces. It helps out a little bit. They have a nice crease line in the middle. And you put them just as you see there, just as shown. And I got the low drill torque setting on my drill, of course. And you line those up with the small skylights, the holes. There should be 6 of them going all the way around, as you see. And you just zip, zip, zip. Each one of those screws go right in there with a washer. So I think there's maybe 6 of these down the spline of the roof. There's the first one installed. The rest are pretty much all the same. As you can see, this one's the 3rd or 4th one. Anyways, and then there you have it. Your roof is done. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please subscribe. Rubber toe assembly. Over and out.